Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Michael Smith with Awaken to Truth. I'm so glad you were able to tune in and watch today, and I would appreciate it very much if you would take the time to hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying these videos, and it would also help me if you would hit the thumbs up. To those of you that have subscribed already, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you continue to enjoy the videos that come out. Today we are going to talk about the topic, is a cashless society coming? And this is something that I have heard being discussed from both Christians and non-Christians, but particularly for many Christians, that is a topic that is of interest because for many decades, far preceding my childhood, but even in my childhood, of course, I heard that discussed in church. I heard that discussed connected to Bible prophecy. And the question is, where does this come from? Why have Christians had these ideas? Does it even matter? And what implications does it have for us? So we're going to quickly look into some of that today. Number one, the idea of a cashless society. The reason that certain groups of Christians were talking about this in the 1930s and 40s and 50s and going way back is because of some verses out of the book of Revelation. And Revelation is one of those books that there's a lot of controversy around it, but there's also a lot of interest around it. And it would be nice if many people in the church took as much interest in some of the more practical aspects of Scripture, and maybe even just the Gospels and the words of Jesus, if they had as much interest in that as they did some of the apocalyptic literature. It might be amazing what the church could do. But I understand that the futuristic, the apocalyptic stuff, that just has a way of capturing and fascinating our attention. But Revelation 13 specifically deals with the rise of the Antichrist. And again, the nature of these videos, we're not going to dissect this verse by verse. This is going to be kind of a broad picture of it. But it gets into the rise of the Antichrist and what that's going to mean. And at the end of the chapter, it says that the power is going to be given to this seemingly world leader that unless you have taken the mark of the beast, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. So there is no place in Scripture that specifically predicts or prophesies of a cashless society. But people have taken what is there and drawn the conclusions as to how this could come about, that there could be such power and control that one person could dictate whether virtually the entire world could buy or could sell. Now, obviously in the 1950s, 1960s, even really when I was a kid, this idea was almost science fiction. But things have moved at such a fast pace that today we can see that it is absolutely possible, one, that we could be heading towards a cashless type society. In fact, it's been happening right in front of us. It's just that we've grown so comfortable with the way that transactions are done that we often don't even think about it. I mean, with the introduction of credit cards and debit cards and all of that, obviously there is less cash exchanged than there was in years past. But there have been further developments well beyond credit and debit cards. There's the new phenomenon of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin and Dogecoin and all of these other various types of cryptos. There's hundreds, maybe even thousands of cryptocurrencies out there. And then recently, China announced that they are going to be offering a crypto version of the yuan, that they're going to have their own cryptocurrency. And so that kind of raises the question, will the U.S. follow suit? Well, my guess would be that we will introduce some type of cryptocurrency. When, I don't know. How, I don't know, but I'm just speculating that if China has done it, we're probably going to do it as well. China says that they're going to have both the crypto version and the paper and coin version is still going to be available, but they're just going to have them both side by side. My guess is that as time goes on, it's probably going to continue to move more towards the crypto, away from the paper money. And I would say in a period of time, China will probably have nothing but the crypto yuan. But again, that's just my speculation. And I would also speculate, as I said, that we will follow suit. We will come up with some type of digital dollar or, the equivalent thereof. But the question is, what does all of this really matter? What does it have to do with Bible prophecy? What does it have to do with Revelation? What does it have to do with the Antichrist? Well, I think what we have to keep in mind, first and foremost, I'll get to the other stuff in a minute, but first and foremost, what we have to keep in mind is that the book of Revelation is not the revelation of the Antichrist. It's not the revelation of a cashless society. It's not the revelation of a one world order. The book of Revelation is the revelation of Jesus Christ. So we should approach Revelation keeping that in mind. But specifically as to how all of this ties into certain aspects of Revelation, in order for this to come to pass that we find in the book of Revelation, and there's many, many different interpretations, but in order for this to come to pass, for some type of centralized world government, there's going to have to be a significant amount of control. There's going to have to be a great degree of control. Well, one of the best ways to control people is to control the supply of money. And if you can control the supply of money, you can essentially control what people do, because last time I checked, every society has to have some form of money, some medium of exchange, some way to buy and to sell. If you can control the money supply, you can essentially control whatever you want to control for the most part. So the more digitized money becomes, the less control we as individuals have, and the more control massive institutions or potentially governments have over our money. Like right now, most people, you don't keep your money under your mattress. Maybe some of you do, I don't know. But most people keep your money in a bank, or you have your money in investments, or you have your money in various places, and that's understandable. But people always are under the kind of the idea or the illusion, well, I can go get my money out of the bank anytime that I want. Well, no, you really can't. Because once you put it in the bank has more control over your money than probably you know. If you don't believe me, go and try and extract a very large amount at one time. And more than likely, your bank will tell you, no, you're not allowed to take that much out at one time. It may be different amounts for different banks. But here recently, I have had a situation where I had a draft taken out of my account. It was a draft that I approved. It was a particular transfer that I was kind of transferring money into another investment. And my bank shut that account down. They shut the whole account down. They froze all of my accounts. They wouldn't let anything in or out of those accounts. And I had to go and get all of that taken care of. And it was very lengthy, and it took a great deal of effort on my part to be able to get access once again to my money. Now, I understand they were doing it for security purposes, but that's not my point. My point is, we can go get our money from the bank so long as the bank tells us we can. So when you digitize everything and all of the money is in the system, it opens up the ball game for a whole new level of control. And if all of your money is sitting in some type of cashless digital account and there's no way that you can get physical money into your hands, then guess what? Your account can be shut off just like that. Hence, you no longer have the ability to buy or to sell. So that's the idea behind the cashless society. It doesn't come directly out of Scripture. It's more kind of ascertained by taking things to its ultimate conclusion. How could this world government begin to exert the type of control where people have to take this mark and or they can lose the privilege of buying or selling? Well, we're beginning to see certain phases of how that could happen. I'm not making predictions that it's around the corner. I'm not making predictions that we're going to see it in our lifetime. Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but we are certainly beginning to see the possibilities of how this level of control could begin to move towards this type of thing being able to happen. There's another unveiling that I believe is just another mechanism of control, and we may talk about that in the next video some, but there's also the unveiling of this vaccine passport, where you have to have this little passport to be able to go here and to go there and to do this and to do that. So again, what does all of this mean? Well, I think that at the very least, it means that there is conditioning and there is movement that is moving us to begin to accept the fact that we are allowed to do what we want to do so long as we do what we're told to do. Next video, I think we'll get a little deeper into some of the ideas behind this, because some people think, oh, well, it's all gone to hell in a handbasket. What does it matter? I'm just going to let it go. And some people believe, we have a responsibility to push back. So we're going to talk about that some in the next video, and we're going to talk about maybe this vaccine passport a little bit more and the implications of that. But I see all of this as mechanisms that are shifting control from the masses to the few, and all of that sets up very nicely for many of the things that are set forth in the book of Revelation. So it's good to be aware of these things. It's not healthy to fixate on these things so much that we worry and we have anxiety and that we're troubled and that we're disturbed. Because remember, the book of Revelation is not the revealing of the Antichrist or the one world government. The book of Revelation is the revelation of Jesus Christ, the soon coming King, who is victorious over all things. So I leave you with that today. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and we'll be back very soon.